Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is D-Free, and for today's 5-9 gaming video, we're going to be going over the top 10 Zenkais released within the year of 2021. So in the comments, please be sure to let us know down below what you guys think the top 10 from 1 to 10 Zenkai characters, again, released within the year of 2021 are. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content on 5-9. So before we jump in, I do want to go ahead and mention all the characters that we are working with in terms of this. We actually eliminated the free EX characters or the event-based characters like Kakarot, Goku from the list because we didn't feel like they would be in the final product anyway. So outside of those characters that came out throughout the year, we were working with LF Piccolo, LF Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Legends Road Piccolo, Android Super 17, the Red Kid Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. We had the Blue Super Saiyan 1 Gohan from the Broly movie alongside the LF Goten. We had Final Form Yellow Frieza. We had Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla. We have Blue Piccolo. We have LF Frieza. We have Super Vegeta, Metal Cooler, Super Saiyan 2 Teen Trunks, Super Saiyan God Vegeta, Fusion Zamasu, GT Vegeta, Janemba, Broly and Chilai, LF Super Vegito, Transforming Blue Gogeta, and we also have Kaioken Goku and Kaba. So those are all of the Zenkais that released in terms of the year 2021 that were in consideration for today's video. So again, let us know in the comments down below what you guys think are the top 10 among those, and if you want to include the free ones that we didn't actually include here. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. So Battlemore, why don't you let everyone know your top 10 Zenkais, starting with number 10 from the year of 2021.
Yeah, my number 10 is LF Goten. And the reason...
That is an interesting one for number 10 there. Goten is somebody that a lot of people were definitely not very happy about in terms of what he got.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, everyone was like, no, we cannot boost these hybrids anymore.
Yep.
It's not possible. We don't need this.
That was the theme of 2021.
Oh, it was. Oh my god. It was. Everyone was like, no. Because they were so powerful still. And they wanted to boost them even further. Which surprised the heck out of them. Like, god damn. But.
Yeah, definitely. So why don't you tell us a little bit about why Goten is on your list in general and at the number 10 spot?
I mean, I feel like he deserves to be on the list because and fitting on number 10 because he still does damage and stuff, but I feel like he's way too restricted to with Gohan in order to get his blast arts. But else he has his support, he has paralyzed on his blast arts. Like, he has a great thing, but once everything that is over, Goten... yeah, the one thing you want to get rid of first is Goten.
Yeah, awesome. He's also on my list as a spoiler. I think he's incredibly good. It shouldn't be a surprise that the LF is on both lists. But speaking of an LF, tell everyone about your number 9.
My number 9 is LF Frieza.
Okay, and why was he here?
He's here because LOE needed a very good support. Not just LOE, Frieza Force. And the only complaint everyone had about this Frieza, he was not tanky enough to do everything. And with the Zenkai, everyone was happy how well he did.
Yeah, awesome. And he also has that unique equip that does help with his tankiness and stuff like that. You know, I hear a lot of people always talking about LOE needing buffs, but don't really talk much about the Frieza Force side of things when it comes to these Frieza characters and stuff. So really appreciate the shout out. In terms of what you have here for number 8, let's move on to that one.
The number 8 is Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, the blue one.
Interesting character here. He is somebody that there's a decent amount of saturation on his teams, I guess, even just in terms of recent characters that obviously came out and then also just same color characters. So why is he in the number 8 spot?
The reason why he's on number 8 is because his buff for hybrids and future are just ridiculous. Even though his C ability is not that good, his ability easily takes over that, because as soon as a battle member gets hit, he shortens substitution count. That means he can come faster. Every time an end of an attack hits on him, he gets card draw speed, power up. Like, it can stack, so if people keep tapping him, he will just go a powerhouse and just rampage through everything.
Yeah, he's quite a powerful character. You know, with the draw that he does for the blue cards and all these things that he can kind of do. And I really do love what you said about, you know, how he has the ability to do the sub countdown. That was a really big theme of the Vegeta family team, you know, with him and, you know, characters like Green Vegeta that came out obviously quite a while ago, the LF one. These are characters that have a specific theme of like supporting allies in terms of battle whenever they use arts or hit with arts, whatever the case is. So I think he's a cool character. You know what? I was talking about how there was saturation for him, but don't get it confused. He was most likely the best blue on pretty much all of his teams, depending on who you asked, up until recently anyway.
Yeah.
So, awesome character. Could have probably been higher, and he's great. So, what about number 7?
My number 7 is LF Piccolo.
Okay, why?
LF Piccolo did so many things. He had extreme vanish. Like, after he used his main, he restores his vanish. He could easily remove cards, stack his green card, so his blue could easily one-shot anything. He has blast armor. Like, you were afraid to do anything, because as soon as you tried to use a blast, he was ready with a green card and then blue card. And you were got one shot.
Yeah, the green drawing the blue with the blast armor, it just, you know, one thing that I'll always remember about his blue card is it's one of those moves that it doesn't look like there's not very many of them, but it doesn't look like it's doing very much damage, but the final portion, the ending portion, you see all the damage just pop through.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it's kind of like doing nothing, and then at the end it's like, boom, you're done. You're getting LF.
Yeah, every time I see that, it's like, oh my god, calm down. Like,
yeah, so he's a cool character, and he was one of the quickest turnarounds in terms of being released in the game and turning around and getting a Zenkai. He may actually have been the character that had the quickest turnaround overall in terms of when he comes out versus getting a Zenkai shortly thereafter. So interesting character, and it took a while. They came out together, Frieza and Piccolo, but it took a while to get the Frieza one after Piccolo got his. So I'm happy that though ultimately they were able to both get their Zenkais there.
Yeah.
So what I think, by the way, since I'm having a lot of commentary, I think just to let you and the viewers know, when it comes to some of these ones that I have on my list as well, I'll probably just kind of defer a little bit and say, hey, we kind of talked about them a little bit.
Oh, yeah, true.
So, what about number 6?
My number 6 is Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta.
Okay.
Yeah, and
what about
the reason why, because at the time when he's released, even though his C ability was for Vegeta family, he will still be put in the GT because he had permanent card draw speed already. His blast damage hurts like heck. His ultimate do a lot of damage, and he continuously just stands there and just rampage through everything. And with the support of his other teams in GT, helped him a lot.
Nice. He actually has the Z ability for GT as well. I don't know if you meant the Zenkai ability, maybe, for Vegeta.
I meant the Zenkai ability.
Yeah, cool.
The Zenkai ability.
Just wanted to clarify on that. But he is a character that it's really interesting because he has a lot of things built into his kit. He's got the supporting effects built in. He's got the draw speed. He's got some cut built in. He's got the extra key on entry. He's got different types of damage, just general damage, blast damage. He's a very well-rounded character. You know, he has the blast art that does the debuff for strike damage up, which obviously Goku has the opposite of that. They're meant to be ran together. I really do like the Vegeta playstyle, though, changing strikes to blasts. Very powerful character, and he's a character that could really catch you slipping. You know, if you're not careful,
and
he will rip you to pieces.
In the time of meta, every time people like to switch a lot, he does extra damage every time people switch. His next art does 40% extra damage.
Yeah, he will rip you to pieces.
Yeah, and with his other Zenkai abilities, like he has 100% to blast damage to enemy blast armor.
Yep.
Like he will rip. And it hurts.
Yeah, very, very powerful character that if you are not watching for him, he will do a lot. And like I said, also he's one of the probably handful of characters that does buff allies, like, you know, Awaken Special, blah, blah, arts cards. So very good.
Yeah.
What about the next?
My next one is Zamasu. The Fuse Zamasu.
Okay, well, Zamasu is probably the most surprising one of the year. So why is he here?
He is here in the middle of the list because when it comes to tanking and the oppressiveness, how good this character was, it was just amazing. Because literally just use the green card, decrease opponent's key, and still gain your own. He did all the things that he needed for a tank unit, a damage unit. He literally had everything on his kit that made him more just viable to be on the team. Just he can take anything.
Yeah, you know, with him, I didn't know if he really needed a Zenkai per se, but I mean, he obviously needed a stat upgrade.
I was surprised when he got a Zenkai. I was like, really? Already? The second Annie unit?
Yeah. So, like, to me, I think my reaction to him was that I don't know if he needed it, but obviously I'm happy he has it, but the stat upgrade is very nice, right? And then also with all these Zenkais getting their Zenkai ability anyway, it's more stats. So, overall, quite a powerhouse. And, you know, really, there is a version of his teams that are just extremely annoying to play against and very tanky, especially with characters like him and like the green Zamasu assist character, things like that, right? So,
yeah, also
very interesting character. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about your next one?
Before I go to the next one, Zamasu also fits very good at God Key. And God Key purple unit were very squishy at the time. So, because he's...
until he came out and we got the next one.
True. Tag unit.
Yeah.
But the next one, number 4, is Android 17, or should I say Super Android 17 from the GT.
Nice. Very, you know, he was actually a very polarizing character when he got his Zenkai. Because he got his Zenkai, I believe, around the time of the release of SS4 Gogeta, just because they were doing that GT ramp up. They were doing a lot of GT releases and Zenkais, blah, blah. So he was a character that some people were saying was better than SS4.
I was on the camp that he was. Before Gogeta got his plat equip, like Super... Yeah,
the new equip, obviously.
This Super 17 literally could tank anything. People were afraid of using any blast art at all because literally he gets green card every time someone new appears. And everyone is afraid of his paralysis ultimate too because it inflicts the entire team for a long time.
Yeah. I know for a fact that when he came out, I was likening his playstyle in PvP to that of the early days of the Namek Goku. The first pass of Namek Goku, not his second with the Zenkai. The first pass, when he came out, he changed the game and was so different to where he really incentivized passive play and things like that. And this dude kind of did something similar. Like you said, people were terrified of him. And he also had one of the most annoying and cancerous mechanics in the game with the paralysis for the full party. So, incredible character.
The funny thing is about his green card, his cover is literally the same. He could absorb every blue range card. It literally is the same.
Yeah. I always laughed at that because I believe it was the same pre-Zenkai as well.
Yeah,
it just was so funny to me.
But the good thing about this was that he was literally almost the only unit, except for EX 19 and 20, or Dr. Giro, if we call it that. He was the only unit that could absorb a blue card that was arranged and just stood there.
Yeah, and for people that don't understand, basically, any blast-based move, he can absorb it. So, yeah it's crazy utility because it's on the green or on cover, right? So, insane.
So, people were afraid.
And that's where I think people don't understand because he gets all these benefits. We talked about how it's the same, but he gets all these benefits of like healing and all these other things. And it's so cancerous to play against him because you can't do any ranged actions. And then on top of that, just to kind of wrap up what I have to say, it's available even if you are trying to do it, you know, on a cover. Like that's the thing. It's the cover is a whole other beast, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like, you don't know if you could drop combos or something because you don't know when to cover.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Okay, my number 3 is Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT.
All right, what's up with him at number 3? Why not higher or lower?
Yeah, the reason why I feel like he fits right there is because he's a melee type that doesn't really do damage, but do damage anyway. He has his main ability that makes sure that cover doesn't work, and when the time of release there were so many covered units, that was just insane. And also because he has the first melee type that was a support unit for his very own tag of GT. Like, he buffed the team by 30% and everyone was like, what? What?
Yeah.
Also,
Very powerful. And a thing that is underrated about him is he also has the Nullify Endurance, just like this new Gogeta, for 30 counts.
Uh-huh.
That's insane.
Yeah, and you could literally not cover, and he was like, "Time to Rising Rush."
Yeah, he's got the anti-cover, and he's got the Nullify Endurance.
Yeah.
Disgusting combination.
That's why he was so good. People compared him to Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Like, people told me that purple Super Saiyan 3 Goku was better because he got the strike and do more damage. But in order to control the field, Super Saiyan 4 Goku did that much better. Because his green card continuously gave him card draw speed, he supports his team, he did what he was supposed to do. And that was the great thing.
And you know, the thing about him, even pre-Zenkai, was he was designed to be a jack-of-all-trades kind of character. And they really leaned into that post-Zenkai, also giving him access to health restoration, which he already had, but like he's got the utility in terms of the things we talked about, the supporting and these meta-changing nullifications, right? And then on top of that, having the ability to have sustainability, right? He doesn't do the most damage, but he even has card speed, he has card cost down, restores ki anytime he's versus an enemy, which is better than just switching in once. If they switch versus him, he's picking it up too. Things like that. Very powerful character, especially if you start off with the green card.
Yeah. Also, because he's almost the only viable purple in GT.
Yep.
Because right now there are 2 EXs only, and he's the only sparking. But I feel like he fits the team so well, you don't need to do that.
He's such a well-rounded character. Like, he's really, really powerful, really good, and very well designed, in my opinion.
Yeah,
All
same.
right. Yeah, so let's move on to the next one here. We're starting to wind down, and then we'll move on to my list.
Okay, my number 2 is Legends Limited Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Ryuden, don't hate me.
I don't think anybody is surprised he's in your top 2, but what do you have to say about him?
Well, when he got a Zenkai, oh my god, he did almost everything. Like, he had the cover, like, he was feeling when you fought Super 17. Like, as soon as, you don't want to use a green card, but once he catches you with the green card, it's like he had an entire combo against you. Also, he gets card draw speed, and by god, when people switch against him, he gains Dragon Balls and buffing his ultimate arch. People were so afraid because he had type brutality too. It was just insane how good this unit was in Saiyans.
Yeah, very powerful. You know, one thing that was very underrated that they don't do a ton anyway was they gave his green card the ability to combo into anything, as opposed to just the blue pre-Zenkai like it was.
Yeah.
And that's 10 times more valuable, you know, because it turns into a full combo starter from max distance while restoring his ki and destroying their cards. Insane. So, like you said, he's like 17. He does a little bit of everything. Incredible character.
Yeah, and the top it all off is because every time when you use him, because people been in Saiyans used him with Namek Goku, and people were so afraid of attacking because you just want to try tackling, but they know, those who experience know, as soon as they see a tackle, you will get strike.
Yep. Crazy. Insane. And Namek Goku is a whole different one. He actually didn't make the cut because he was the final, I believe, Zenkai of the year. So he would have been on this list for sure otherwise. Yeah. So let's talk about your top pick.
My top pick is actually Legends Limited Super Vegito.
All right. Why is he your number 1 Zenkai of 2021?
First, he's a fusion. Second, it's Super Vegito. Literally, it's when so many memes on when Candy Vegito beats everything. Obviously, it's not just that, but it's his entire kit is to support himself and his team. Sure, he's not doing one kick-ass combo by kicking my opponent.
I mean, he can.
But he can, absolutely. But his very kit helps him with the support ability and buffing himself up. Like, he's ramping up, and that is a good thing, because you don't really want a unit that can literally kick ass. Sure, you want to do that, but that's not what Super Vegeta is all about. Even in the anime, he took his time building himself up by beating Majin Buu. And that was the coolest moment of him. Also, he is a Super Saiyan. He can easily be run with Bardock. Like, that he crit damage does really much. His C ability is one of the unique C ability once he's 14 star, like giving HP and strike attack and defense.
Yeah, very
like,
powerful Z ability.
It's insane. Yeah, like this Super Vegito had everything, and his ultimate hit like a truck. Not only just his ultimate, his blue card also hit so hard. And because his blue card gains ki back, you literally still had ki enough to do other combos, just waiting for them to come.
Yeah, for sure. Very interesting character that I thought that a lot of people were also very underwhelmed by. Like, there was a very mixed response to his Zenkai. A lot of people wanted him to be better. A lot of people understood the value. And then also a lot of people, were just kind of mild on him. So I think that he, at least in consideration of the 2021 characters, is still for sure one of the top ones. Even if he may not be, number one in the game overall. At least by my opinion.
Yeah, for me, he is number one because of all the things he does. Because how cool he is, how he does build up. And it still reminds me of the anime.
Nice.
Also because of the current meta too, but that's a different thing.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll kind of jump into my number 10. And like I said, because we talked about a lot of it, we're going to talk about a lot of the same characters. We'll kind of just move on kind of quickly. So my number 10 is LF Piccolo. And the reason why I had LF Piccolo at number 10 was because of the fact that he is a character that, for one, admittedly, I don't really love regen. I never did. Viewers of my channel know this, especially if you've been around for a while. But you can't ignore the value of the character. He's got the things that you talked about earlier. The ability to get that vanish back is so insane, post-transformation, stuff like that. And then the blue card, it just will destroy you. And then he has the ability to, I believe, also restore allies' health, I believe, post-Zenkai. So very powerful character just in general. And, in terms of why he is in the 10th spot and not higher, it's just obviously I felt like the other characters were more deserving of that one. Now, do you have anything that you want to add about Piccolo in particular?
Nothing really. It's just that too bad that he was only on region. Even though he was focused on Saiyan Saga, it didn't really start that until much later.
Yeah, for sure. They came back, and it's a little too late now though. Feel free to jump in, man, whenever you want, because I could monologue this whole thing.
Oh no, it's okay, it's fine.
So we have so number 9 is different though, because he's a character that wasn't on your list whatsoever. I really want to say that I really wanted to include a character that you have on your list, but I did not, and I'll wait till the end of my list to say it. But anyways, number 9 is Super Saiyan God Vegeta. This guy was probably the first Zenkai of the year, period. He came out at Legends Festival last year, right after Blue Gogeta came out. And the reason why he is high on my list is because he has the offensive utility, very powerful strike character, can do good damage, get the combos going, things like that. But what I'll say is I valued highly, especially when looking at the list of characters that were available to us in the first place, I value the cover very highly because of the fact that the way that it works is it works versus strikes or blasts, and the only other ones that are like that are the LF versions with UI and SS4 Gogeta, and they're limited to a couple of times. And it does the knockback. It also is comboable, unlike those other characters. They can't combo into theirs. I value that very, very highly. I think it's a very good and probably one of the better covers overall in the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I value that really highly. So that in and of itself was the main reason he's on the list, outside of everything else.
Yeah, the reason why he wasn't on my list though is because, sure, he gains strike when he enters, but only if his health was higher than the opponent.
That is one really, really wacky playstyle that he's always had.
Yeah, I feel like he would have been so much better if he even got ki though. But he didn't. He only got ki when the opponent was lower. But
he was monstrous with Vados in particular for some of those reasons. And also he had the health restoration and Vados with the healing, things like that. Especially with like a health restoration equip, you can really leverage those things very well for him. But you're not wrong, not at all. There are legitimate drawbacks to the character. Number 8 is LF Goten, and I'll just go ahead and repeat everything you said. I had him higher on my list though, just because of the fact that I really do think that the utility and supporting effects that he had and the playstyle of being a blast character were very valuable for the red Gohan. But the thing is, the triple Gohan meta took over by storm, to where in most cases you were never seeing this guy in action at all. So I think he probably went underappreciated and underrated during the time of his release. And he was another character like Super Vegito that I talked about. Really, if we're being honest, pretty much most of the LF Zenkais, people were like, oh, why didn't they get more? You know, because LFs.
Yeah.
But I think with Goten, the blast draw, the utility he had, he heals himself on sub out. He has a unique equip that also heals him. Like, Goten is a very well-rounded character. So I think he for sure deserves to be on the list in the 8 spot. Could have been higher, could have been lower, but I felt comfortable with that placement. Let's move on to number 7 here. So number 7 is LF Frieza, and LF Frieza is a character that I talked about it earlier, but I do hope that they try to lean more into the LOE/Frieza Force space with more Frieza characters. Hopefully we get one sooner than later to really capitalize on this dude before he gets a little too outdated, things like that. But what I'll say is the support that he has, the debuffs, the green card on this guy is ridiculous, by the way. Like, putting an extra blue in your deck is very, very valuable and very flexible as well. So he's got just a lot of different little parts in his kit, and then if he's on LOE, he starts healing and things like that, I believe. So he's got a lot of things in his kit that help him out a ton in terms of usage, and you really can be flexible with him as well with the leader slot as well, outside of being on specific teams as well. We didn't talk a ton about the leader skill slot, but I think you can have some fun with this guy.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's a good
Even though without the leader slot before he got a Zenkai, people were running mono purple with that Frieza just to have fun, to test
yeah,
them
Frieza's interesting, man. He's him and Piccolo also has something similar, but they are characters that are offering these buddy / ally supporting effects.
Oh yeah, that was a thing when they were released, and I found that very interesting.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, they're pretty fun, man.
Yeah, and they gave it to a few units that we were not expecting, but it was fun, and I feel like this Frieza does so much.
Yeah, very good character, honestly. He probably is a little underrated by most people these days.
Yeah, but I think it's because of the support they are not getting.
Yep. That's it. That's why I said I hope that they get the support they need before he's out there.
Yeah, I know.
So moving on to number 6, this is SS4 Vegeta. Again, we talked about how offensive he is, the powerhouse he is, the supporting effects that he has. I don't really have much else to say about him. But I will say, just lastly, that there is, in my mind, a high value in having these characters that are blast-based or strike-based, and having space, like I mentioned with Goten, to create a blast version of these meta teams, like Hybrid's blast version, or a strike version, or a mixture, right? But I really do like the focus of blast from this Vegeta that he always had, admittedly, and I also, in the mixed space, love the synergy he has with Goku. They work so well together, and they always did.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it happens, but also hoping it doesn't happen. The third piece of the puzzle hasn't got a Zenkai yet.
Oh no, not Super Baby 2.
I want it to happen just to see it, but I don't want it to happen.
If that is the case, it should be only restricted for GT. Babies. Please and thank you.
So yeah, we'll move on from that. We don't want to give them any ideas, but yeah, Super Vegeta, awesome character. Next one is the counterpart, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I honestly probably should. I think if I were to redo my list, I'd probably slide him up a couple spots because I really kind of changed my opinion, but I don't want to change my list mid-video. Insane utility, dude. Really is like incredible character. Support, healing, some defensive ability, damage, obviously, draw speed, nullifies covers, which is incredibly flexible, one of the best mechanics in the game, period. And then the 30 counts on the nullify endurance via main abilities. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
The 30 count thing, Gogeta has that on his ultimates, the new one. And it's like, I was playing against him and I was like, wow, that still wasn't 30 counts, because he didn't land it. He switched out, he came in and landed a strike and still nullified one of my character's endurance, and it was like forever later.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was still active.
I know. In the heat of battle, you think it takes so long, but it doesn't.
Really. Yeah, very powerful effect. So just with that one, honestly, I would probably move him up higher on my list a couple of spots, because in my mind, that's just too good, man. Yeah, it says right here, nullifies restore health when it reaches 0 effect for 30 counts. Yeah, I wanted to double check, just make sure I wasn't misinforming. Yeah, too powerful. So great character. And like you said, the utility on his teams being the best purple in terms of GT specifically. Yeah. And, I really did like Purple SS3 as with the offensive option, but I'd have to agree with you that I'd put this guy on the team over him. But Purple SS3 does have the better Z and I believe Zenkai ability.
Yeah.
But, in terms of just purple Sun family characters, I guess I'd rank him higher. He's really good. Speaking of purple, the next one on my list is Fusion Zamasu. So there's a lot of purple Zenkais that happen if you haven't noticed throughout the year. So Fusion Zamasu, I talked about it. He does pick up some things, but really, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. He's here because he's one of the best tanks in the game. The green card is still incredibly annoying to play against. The level of control that he has with tankiness and the green card, etc., the knockback, and just everything that's in his kit that's control-based is very powerful. And I talked about the space for separate teams earlier. I do love the blast focus on him, leaving access to a blast-based version of a God Key team, I guess more or less before the tag character came out and they wound up on every team, no matter what the scenario, because you always take the best character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did love pre-tag character anyway, the way that the team was built and separated for him specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said before in my thing, that Zamasu really does everything. Tank, does damage, like has cover change, like, and his blue card increase card art, like they cannot combo you high enough. You really need to switch to have back that card art.
Yeah, and then the freaking key loss effect.
Oh yeah, the key reduction is oof.
Oh my goodness.
That was one of the highest in the game, and I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, he is Zamasu really truly is the embodiment of everything annoying. Does pretty much everything. He even has like the bleeds that they added to his kit to give him more passive damage, which actually works really well with a character like him that's very defensive and control based. He still has the playstyle where he gets better, progressively. In terms of like when the enemy has less battle members, he does more damage, things like that. So that's not a bad thing or not a big deal, but I do wish that it was just always there. But the peak on that, the ceiling on that damage for the ultimate is very high overall. You know what I'll say is some of these Zenkais that came out though, and he is one of them, the only gripe I really had with them was like, dude, if you had blast armor, at least not on strikes, but on like the ultimate. That's the only gripe I had with this character at all. It was just like when I was using him, I was like, man, if only you had blast armor on your ultimate. So that would just put a nice little bow on his kit. There's a few of them that are like that, whether on the list or not. But yeah, that is one thing I really didn't like. But they can't give it to everybody, so I get it.
Yeah.
Number 3 on my list is Android 17. We talked about him. Really, I just cannot say this enough. One of the most annoying characters in the entire game to play against. So that's just, and like, I am not great with this character, admittedly, but in the hands of somebody that is really good with this character, he is very, very, very times 10 frustrating to play against.
Very dangerous.
We talked about it earlier. He is, what'd you say?
Very dangerous, to be precise.
Yeah, he is something else. He just like 17, or just like Zamasu, has a lot of control and is very powerful. He also can do a lot of damage. Very good character.
Yeah, and it's still ramped up.
Definitely don't want to sleep.
It still ramps up too every time you use a green or cover. Like he still does a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't want to sleep on him at all. So number 2 on my list is LF Super Vegito. I purposely try to avoid giving these characters a higher ranking or lower ranking based on their relevance in the current meta, which admittedly his stock, I mean, he just came out, but his stock is rising with the release of the Ultra Gogeta anyway. So I try to avoid that. But what I'll say is I talked about it previously that, the people that are all over the spectrum in terms of their liking or disliking of this character, I think that he is perfect. Not that he's perfect in terms of being the best character in the game or anything like that, but I think he was designed perfectly. I think they made the right tweaks where they needed to, gave him exactly what he needed for the most part. He's got 2 elements of draw speed, I believe, main ability and passive, I believe. if you read his kit Breeze Zenkai, he has a very laid out playstyle. He needs cards. They give him access to more cards. He has everything that he would really need to lean heavily into that playstyle. Now, obviously, you might want him to do more damage, whoop-de-woo, whatever you want him to do, like more tanking, whatever. Okay, that's fair. But if you really look at the kit, I think he was designed very well. So for me, I think he's worthy of the number 2 spot.
I mean, he was designed so well, fitting for the very anime series. Because literally in the anime, he is taking his time, and then he gets stronger. And they made him right by putting him into the game like this, made his kit was similar to what he is.
And I like the minor tweaks on the margins where it's like they updated a version of these effects where previously he would have the effect to buff himself when the enemy uses cards, and then it turns into buff all allies when the enemy is using cards versus him, for example. I like the marginal changes that they did to the character to allow for more supporting effects, things like that. So very powerful character just in general. And I can understand not liking the ramp up nature of him where he gets the buffs based on the cards he draws, which admittedly, I believe they did extend the amount of time he has the buffs because that was a big issue for him as well. But I think that the way he's built is, like you said, very anime accurate, and it was that pre-Zenkai. But I think it leans into the playstyle they laid out for his initial release. As a 1-year anniversary character, he was a character I think that people were most anticipating, was very easy to get wrong in the eyes of a lot of people, but in my eyes, I think they did very well. Are you ready for my number 1?
Okay.
I think it's pretty obvious who's number 1 at this point, by the way.
Oh, really? No, do tell me, do.
So, my boy Rai, I gotta give it to you, man. LFSS3. By the way, I just want to say that SS3 is one of... I know it's Ryuden's thing, and I'm not trying to steal his thunder, but I do love SS3 as a form. It's one of my favorite forms in the series, so I'm not mad at this at all. And one of my favorite forms in general, period, in the entire series is SS3 Kid Goku, so I was extremely hyped about his release. One of my most anticipated characters. So on the topic, Rai, my guy, I give it to you. We got LFSS3 here. I don't think words really could do him justice. I'll tell you though, on release, he is a character that I was not the kindest to, but after his release, getting to see him play against him, I wasn't like critical really. It's like I didn't think he was like all that, but after some time, it's like, oh, okay. He's one of those characters, like in the stratosphere at the time of 18 and Gohan. It's like, oh, he's one of those characters. Okay. So very, very powerful character. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's just, that guy's something else, man. I don't have much else to say. You have anything you want to add on SS3 before we wrap it up, man?
No, I feel like you hit all the nails. I feel like this is probably a good time that everything fits right.
Yeah, sounds good. So obviously our lists were different, guys. Let us know in the comments, like I said in the beginning, your list for the overall top 10. And in terms of what we have here, this video was definitely a joy. It's something that took a little bit longer to do than I wanted to do, but it's always hard to fit in 2 top 10 lists in a video. So Battlemore, thank you so much for helping me out with this, man.
No problem. I was glad to be here talking about this. It was a very interesting year, and I hope we getting more next year.
Man, hold on. Can we not get more Zenkais next year? Can we just...
I mean, every Zenkai is free now,
Too
so...
many Zenkais. Yeah, that's true, but still so many Zenkais. Oh, man. I guess it is what it is. They got to do a Zenkai or a character or both or whatever. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you guys for being here. If you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more content here on the 5-9 Gaming channel. And we'll see all of you in the next one.
See you guys.